Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday, happy MLK Day to everyone out there. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Unorthodox Social Worker, where we do discuss all things social work from an unorthodox perspective. Please don't forget to do it. Take that few seconds, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. This is going to be a shorter video than usual, just one I want to bust out about some recent news. And again, if you did want to know some further information about myself as a social worker, please check out one of my first two videos. I'm reporting live to y'all from San Francisco, Richmond District, just off here off Clement Street. But yeah, so some news today, some quite surprising news, and quite surprised about how fast this whole thing flipped. So the news today, the headline about the update on the Moms for Housing case was, of course, as you remember it, I believe last week, I forgot which day it was, I believe it was about a week ago, the Moms for Oakland, and if you're not familiar with the Moms for Oakland story, just go check it out, and then you can get up on it. But they were evicted from their house. A few of them were booked into county jail. I believe someone raised a GoFundMe page to get them out on bail the same day, so they were out the same day. And then it turns out that today the headline news is that the mothers came up with an agreement with, I guess, the property company who owns this property, which was Wedgewood Properties, which I guess was receiving scrutiny and things of that nature, that they are some kind of multi-million-dollar housing corporation that buys and flips homes and leaves vacant homes on the market, and other list of scrutiny along with them. But they have come to a deal today to buy the house at a market rate, okay? I don't know how much the market rate is for that house. It's probably a lot. It could even be, the market rate could even be worth more than the Wedgewood Properties invested in the house, okay? So this could even, it's almost like a win-win for the Wedgewood Properties, because I believe they bought it in a foreclosure at $500,000, 500 something thousand dollars. And then they sold it at market rate to these moms. And then the moms, I think some kind of nonprofit, something like maybe called the Community Land Trust, stepped in, and it sounds like they helped them pay. It doesn't specify whether they helped them pay the down payment or they bought the whole thing or whatever, but I'm sure they got hooked up financially by this housing nonprofit with some bucks to throw down on this house. I would guess the market rate on that house could be probably easy $700,000-800,000, if not more. So kind of the interesting part that the news articles are not talking about is that perhaps since they bought this property at such a cheap price and they acquired it in full, who knows, maybe they made a couple $100,000 in profit in the process of selling these moms the house if it was at market rate. And before I analyze it further, just again, props to these mothers who is pretty much able to strategically practice what they call nonviolent civil disobedience, get a movement going behind them, getting the people, you know what I mean? Everyday people, different business professionals, nonprofit professionals, to support them, to where they created this movement that was so big and they garnered so much outrage and sympathy from the general public. After that, the story of them getting evicted, all of a sudden, this mayor of Oakland is going to visit and talk with these moms. And I think they said Gavin Newsom went, or he himself said, I want to go meet with these moms for housing. So by creating this big kind of like movement / media hype, you got all the top government officials, not only in their own city, but the top dog of the state, Mr. Newsom himself, coming in and showing sympathy for these moms, saying they'll help out in any way, but not specifying how they'll help out. And then I guess, this company, Wedgewood Properties, got shamed so bad, right? And they don't want to seem like, excuse my French, they don't want to seem like huge, inconsiderate assholes. So they said, oh, we're not that bad of people. Let's sell the property to these moms, okay? So these moms really flipped it. They really knew how to advocate for themselves, start a movement, and do all that good stuff. I almost compare it to, like, my father is very good at, getting what he wants from customer service. For example, I remember back in the day, he's kind of a photographer, so he uses Adobe Photoshop, and something happened with Adobe where they shortchanged him a few bucks or something like that. And he's so good at advocating for himself. He got on the phone, was able to get himself to the CEO's office. The CEO of Adobe apologized to him and provided him with a free version of every Adobe product for the rest of his life with free updates. So I believe it's a similar concept. These mothers really knew how to advocate for themselves, not take no for an answer. And I believe the fact that once they got arrested, when they said, we plan on going back to that house and continuing this movement, made Wedgewood Properties even a little bit probably more nervous that they'd have to spend probably more money on lawyers and all this stuff, to try to fight this whole thing again. Not only adding moral pressure on them to make the right decision, but adding financial pressure. And just surprised how the whole thing went. Typically when I see evictions, it could last, at least 6 months. These moms moved in I believe, the end of November. So this essentially December. They were only in there about 1.5, 2 months before they got evicted. And then a week later, they get the property. So I say that to say, in most eviction cases, where the media is not brought to attention, the eviction case of just getting people out of the unit lasts twice, 3 times as longer as this whole ordeal. So definitely props to the mom, the people that helped them out. And in this specific case, they were able to come up and gain ownership of this property. So that's a major, major come up. So it's all good for that. Now, the only thing that's left behind is, like, yes, this is good for these moms. They made the governments feel bad, and they made the people feel bad for them, and they made Wedgewood look like an evil corporation and made them cave in and sell them the property, even though I'm going to guess they still flipped a profit when selling that property. So it's like they kind of won at the same time. They made a little extra bit of money. But this is good for the mothers, but what does this yet still say about other people homeless, other people being evicted? This situation pretty much helped out these moms. But hopefully they keep the movement going so it doesn't stop here. Even though these moms are housed, what do we have to do to get other homeless moms housed? Because, of course, not every homeless individual is going to be savvy enough to advocate for themselves as well as these mothers did, and will continue to be homeless. So let's hope that this movement continues, that people not only support and protest for these moms, but also support, or not support, but protest against those in charge of providing these homeless services or corporations, that we continue, or not we, because I don't consider myself like an active protester beyond what I'm saying on this channel, but people still continue to advocate for the rights of all homeless individuals, and it doesn't just stop with these moms retaining these houses. Yes, they are housed, but there are still tens of thousands of homeless people here in the Bay Area, and how are we going to make sure everyone is all right and not just the moms? But that was a little quick video. Just wanted to give y'all a brief update of what happened, and how surprised I was at how fast they retained this property, because honestly I didn't think that the company who owned this building would do anything like this. But I guess people are so worried about their image today, in politics and business and social situations, whatever. Everybody's so worried about how they are going to get judged, and they don't want to be perceived as that evil person or entity. So even though probably 9 times out of 10 these companies will continue to be evil entities, as those suggest, does this redeem them, that they did this one act of kindness of selling them this house? Does this mean they are a great company? Let me know your thoughts. but interesting stuff. So hopefully we can keep this housing movement going, and like I said, it don't stop here. And hopefully I will be doing more videos on what these moms for housing are up to and how they're able to help other people in their own situation. So that was my little brief video. And again, you know, for the viewers out there, I really do want to appreciate y'all. I've been this channel's maybe a month and a half, 2 months old, something like that. We're finally getting some decent traction, not only decent, you know, some views, but also a lot of people engaging in the comments, giving their opinions. You know, I try to respond to all the comments, but right on for people for contributing their own ideas and different perspectives to this channel. That's what this is all about, is to get people to discuss about, you know, things such as social work, housing, homelessness, things of that nature, you know, how we can come up with ideas to better society. But that's my video for today, y'all. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Deuces.